Today, we are talking about how 25 million rand went missing from a law firm's trust account, how it happened and how you can prevent it. If you are a lawyer and you have a law firm, how you can prevent this from happening to you. I am Olivia and I specialize in creating financial control systems for small to medium businesses. When the money went missing from the law firm's trust account, I'm sure that many lawyers, when they look at this headline, it can be quite a scary feeling. The law firm, this is the headline, the law firm's directors suspended after 25 million rand went missing from the trust fund. Directors of Chewy Incorporated attorneys may not practice for 6 months while the legal firm investigates. What did they do and how did this 25 million rand go missing? And this is quite high up now. This is now from the Supreme Court of Appeal, who have suspended the 6 directors of the law firm. They are under investigation because 25 million rand of trust funds went missing. Even though the directors defended themselves by saying that they were not in control of the firm's finances, the Supreme Court of Appeal said that does not fly at all. And then we also entered the fray. It's the Legal Practice Council. The Legal Practice Council, it's like the body who oversees attorneys, and each province have their own Legal Practice Council. So here is the story. This is what happened. 6 directors of a law firm are under investigation for misappropriating more than 25 million rand from whose money? Their clients' money. So now they have been suspended from practice for 6 months while the Legal Practice Council, the LPC, investigates their role in the matter. So it just needs to be said that this case is still under investigation. It has not been tested in a court of law. The heart of the issue now is the money that is missing from the trust account. So remember, there are 6 directors, and of those 6, 5 claimed they had no role in the accounting and financial affairs of the firm. So the SCA, the Supreme Court of Appeal, said this was a dereliction of their duties as directors, and their defense was no defense at all. So they are also facing a liquidation application because now they don't have money. The LPC, because this is a serious issue, the LPC sought an order that all 7 directors must be suspended from practice pending the finalization of an investigation into the money. Let's continue and see what the judge also said. The judge said at the heart of this application is the question of liability of all the directors of the law firm when the financial misconduct has allegedly been committed by only one director. One person started this whole mess, but now see who's all implicated. But in order to understand the story, I always believe you have to go back to the beginning. This is where it started. In the 2020-21 financial year, the LPC had received complaints from members of the public, ordinary people like you and me, They've received complaints from members of the public that the firm has represented them in litigation with the Road Accident Fund, collected the money from the fund, but failed to pay it over. The amounts ranged from 377,000 to 1.2 million rand for claimants. In addition, the LPC was informed that RAV, the Road Accident Fund, had complained as well. It had mistakenly made a duplicate payment to the firm to the amount of 29 million rand, which has never been repaid. We are coming back to all of these numbers later. So by the time the LPC charged the directors, it had received and investigated 26 complaints. 26 complaints. Investigations has revealed that at least for now, 25.8 million rand in trust funds could not be accounted for. At least. So that 25.8 million can increase. Why is this a story of interest? Look at this. At the time when the High Court application was launched, so remember our court processes in South Africa. You start with the High Court, and then if you're not happy with that ruling, then you go to the Supreme Court of Appeal. So now, when initially this case started in the High Court, the application was launched, the firm was handling 6,000 files with a gross value of 6.2 billion rand. We're coming back to all of these numbers to explain the importance of these numbers. When you look at the 6,000 files, that's 6,000 clients. I just want to highlight, it's 6,000 clients, 6,000 families, 6,000 people. That's almost a small dorpie. In some states of United States of America, that's a small dorpie. Almost a small town full of people. Their files were there to the value of 6.2 billion rand. Thus was the amount of cases that these lawyers were handling. So they went to court. The Limpopo LPC went to court to have them suspended. So this is what the court case currently is about. The LPC of Limpopo, one of the provinces in South Africa, then went to the High Court in October 2021 to say that these people, they must be suspended because the money of the trust fund is being mismanaged. So then they were not happy with the ruling, so the directors then went to the Court of Appeal because the LPC said all 7 directors must be suspended from practice pending the finalization of an investigation into the missing money, which make perfect sense. If there are questions about how you manage money in your law firm, the natural thing then would be for you to step aside while the investigation is going on. So the LPC said, you know what, guys, seeing that the money is missing and you can't account for it, let us then suspend you. And they said, it's not going to happen. So the LPC went to court, and the High Court ruling, obviously, it was in favor of the LPC. So then the directors then went to the Supreme Court of Appeal because they said, no, you can't suspend us. What was their defense? They said 25 million so far, 25.8 million rand is gone. Poof, missing. That's roughly 1.2 million US dollars. It's gone. So the money was gone and they couldn't account for it. On top of that, not just the missing money, there were also clients who complained. The client said this money is gone and we want to know what happened, and these people are not giving us any joy. On top of it, there's a body called the Road Accident Fund. What happens, the function of the Road Accident Fund, when you get into an accident, right, then you can go to the Road Accident Fund and you can claim money for injuries and all the losses. They even calculate future loss of income. So then, but of course, as an ordinary person, I don't know the processes. I'm not a lawyer. So then you go to a lawyer who specializes in road accident fund claims. And then the lawyer represents you. They settle with the court. The court pays the money into the trust account of the lawyers, and then the money should be paid into your account. These cases normally take time, because experts need to be called. They must be able to substantiate the claims in court. Remember, courts don't deal with sentiments and opinion. They deal with facts and numbers, just like accountants, like me. So, but people started complaining, but they're not getting the money. At the same time, the Road Accident Fund also had a complaint against these guys, against this law firm. They made a payment. It was supposed to be 29 million rand. But instead of 29 million, they paid the law firm 58 million rand. And they never gave the money back. When the mistake was discovered, they never gave the money back. So where does accounting fit into RAF, into the law firm, and into the trust account? Remember, the lawyers said they had nothing to do with the financial controls of the business, of the law firm. And the court said, doesn't fly, we don't care, you are a director. And according to the Company Act, as a director, you have certain fiduciary duties. You must know, and you must be able, and you are being held liable for the money in your business. Whether you were in Timbuktu when the money was eaten, as long as you are a director in the business, even if you're not active, even if you were asleep the whole time, even if you were in a coma, you are still held liable, because your name is appearing there. You are supposed to know what's going on in the business. In terms of tax, SARS doesn't care. Whether you were like, I was just there, SARS doesn't care. The court doesn't care, because your name is on that registration CIPC document, South African Business Owners. Your name is there under director, remember? Your ID number, your name, address, and contact numbers. So these guys are being accused that the money has been chowed because there's no accountability. They cannot give account for all this money. So their defense is that it was only one director who was chowing. The others, they didn't know about it. So still the court is saying, all of you must be suspended, because you were supposed to take an active interest in your business. This is not the first time that this will happen, and definitely not the last time. Attorneys get into trouble because of the trust account. You need to understand, with the trust account, the money, if you go to a lawyer, and normally nobody goes to a lawyer skipping and jumping with joy. Nobody is excited of the prospect of having to go to a lawyer. So already emotionally and psychologically and mentally, you are so stressed because nobody wants to be in court. That's the reality. So when you go to the lawyer, already you are completely stressed out. You are painting this worst sketch, worst picture scenario in your head. You are afraid, you are nervous, you are stressful. And you trust that the lawyer will do the right thing when he or she represents you in court. But In exchange for that trust, you hand over money. So that money that you as the client pays to the lawyer, the money that the lawyer receives from the client goes into the trust account for services yet to be rendered. It has not been done, you have not been represented, but the lawyer has been paid beforehand. You know, you pay a lawyer ahead. So that money gets parked in the trust account. It's not your money as an attorney. That money, by law, still belongs to the client until the services has been rendered. Why is that so important? Say, for instance, a client gets charged 50,000 Rand, and he or she is in the lucky and fortunate position to be able to pay the 50,000 Rand. Because the lawyer has given an estimate of what the charges will be, the fees will be, and at some stage it might increase or you might get change. So now you pay over the 50,000 Rand. So when you go, the lawyer then represents you with the first court appearance. He maybe takes 5,000. There's still 45,000 left. So you listen to the lawyer and you feel, but I'm not happy with the way that you conduct yourself. I want my 45,000 Rand back. That is why the money goes into the trust account. The trust account, it's like a holding account. It's a safeguarding account. It's only once the services has been rendered that the money gets paid into the lawyer's business account. So what these lawyers did, they were eating from the trust account. The money allegedly because this is still under investigation, right? The money has been paid. The road accident fund paid the money to the trust account, but the lawyers never paid it over to the clients. How does this happen? Before we get to the how, let's take a look at human nature. We are human. We are people. We have lives, responsibilities, obligations, feelings, emotions, dreams, aspirations, right? So what happens? Because the client doesn't know the lawyer's situation. So now that 50,000 Rand get paid into the lawyer's trust account. Hey, school fees are due. Hey, it's human nature. And we have to speak about it. We must stop as professionals, stand on the podium and preach as if we live in a perfect world. We don't. The reality is, if you get in a fix and you know there's money in your trust account, human nature dictates that you will dip your fingers into that trust account because in your mind the money is yours. So that is human nature. And it happens, and it's not the exception, it's the rule. More lawyers than what we would care to know dip into their trust fund. And that is where the problem lies. Lawyers don't go to jail because they were eating of their business money. No, they'd go to jail because of the trust account, because with that trust account comes certain responsibilities and obligation as prescribed by law, right? So, how did this happen? We read that in that short piece, the news article, it said they were not part of the financial controls of the business, of the law firm, which means there was one person. Normally, all of this, it starts with one person. One person seemingly, allegedly, was in charge of the finances, but yet there were 7 directors, but one person was taking charge. You don't hear anything about bookkeeping. You don't hear anything about accounting. There are no systems. Remember when I said in the beginning of this video, I said I specialize in setting up financial control systems in your business, especially for lawyers. It sounds fancy, right? No, it's the nitty-gritty of the flow of money. What do I do when I say financial controls? Number one, I want to ask you, attorney, lawyer, advocate, legal practitioner, whatever you want to call yourself, do you have a comprehensive client list? The client list with your client name, surname, maybe ID number, full contact details, email address and cell number. That's the basic. Then obviously you have a folder number. That folder number links your client to everything. Number one, your client list. Do you have it? Is it in order? Do you have one place where you can go and click a button and just like magic, the names appear? Number two, let's look at your invoicing system. Let me take a deep breath before I say this. Many business owners, not just lawyers, but across industries, you think your business bank statement, it's the only proof you need for the flow of money in your business. Because look, on my bank statements, it shows who paid and what I paid. Yeah. But you are so wrong if you think it paints the complete picture. This is why. As a lawyer, remember in your trust account, when money gets paid, it's one specific client that pays into the trust account. Under that client, there will be other expenses. And yeah, I specifically talk about the lawyers who deal with the road accident fund. Right? Under that, you need to pay experts. People who can testify about the psychological impact of the accident, the medical impact of the accident. So all of those experts must be linked to that customer, to that client, so that you can know exactly how much so far did the client spend, right? You must know that. Sometimes in the case of the road accident fund, what happens is lawyers work with a team of people. And instead of the claimant, the person who is actually claiming from the road accident fund, so the team of people the lawyer works with, they then they pay for the experts, and then they must be reimbursed once the road accident pays out the claimant. So you need to keep record of all those payments all the expenses that has been incurred on behalf of your client. You need to know when the money was paid, how much is outstanding. That's why your invoicing is so important. Do you have that? Or do you still rely just on your bank statements for information? Here's an interesting note for you lawyers who think the bank statements, and not just lawyers, a lot of the other business owners. When you only rely on your bank statements, what that bank statements shows, it's only money coming in. It doesn't show how long you've been owed the money. It doesn't show what the money is for unless someone was decent enough to put a reference, which doesn't always happen. So now all SARS, let's move to SARS, the South African Revenue Service. All they see, it's money coming in your business. They have no idea of your accounts receivable, how much money is still outstanding. So they just say, oh, this dude is making money like nothing. Let's hit him with a tax. That is why you can't just rely on your bank statements. So it's your client list, your invoicing. Let's look at your accounting system. Do you still use spreadsheets, which is brilliant if you know how to use formulas? Or do you just write things on a piece of paper, or there's a little black book you write everything on, or you don't even have that? You don't even have that. You just, as money comes in, I'll deal with it later. You know what the purpose of online accounting software is? The brilliance of the right accounting software. You enter the details of the client once. Then when you create an invoice and you capture the date, the amount. When you get paid, you match the payment with the invoicing. So you can say, I wanted 50,000, but this person paid 25,000. Automatically, the software minus the amount for you. You don't have to sit here and scratch your head and start panicking because now I want invoices. That is accounting software. So the basics of financial control, accounting control systems in terms of law firms, and many other businesses. Client list, because you need to know who your clients are. Invoicing. You need to know when you issued an invoice, when it was issued, how long money has been outstanding, who paid you, and how much they paid you. That is what an effective invoicing system does. For that, you need the right accounting software. The accounting software make things easy, but if you are a cheapskate, like many of you are, if you are a cheapskate who thinks you can do it for yourself, you are going to cause a mess and a headache, and it's going to cost you more to unravel that mess. Let's go back to the story, because it cannot be ignored of what happened here. I want to come back to this headline, and I just want to stop at one thing. You see, this law firm director suspended after 25 million rand went missing from trust fund. I want you, if you are a lawyer right now, I want you to Google and see how many lawyers and directors of law firms went to jail for the trust fund. Having said that, this case is still under investigation. I said earlier on, we will come back to the numbers. The amount that went missing, it's 25.8 million rand that's gone. That people, 26 claimants, were waiting for payouts from the road accident fund, and they never got it. The amount that the 26 claimants, the bulk of their money, when you add it all together, it adds up to 25.8 million rand that was never paid over. And I want to stress that these are ordinary people. It's people who have nothing, who didn't get the money that they were supposed to get. The road accident fund paid, but the money was never paid over to the claimants. The road accident fund itself has a problem with this law firm because they paid 29 million extra by accident, and the law firm never gave it back to them. So if you calculate the 25 plus the 29%, it comes to 54.8 million that's unaccounted for. One law firm, where others say they don't know. So think of the implications when it's your law firm that makes negative headlines like that, all because you did not take the time to invest in a good accountant. And when I say invest, when you pay a bookkeeper, when you pay an accountant, having said that, who knows what they are doing, who really has your interest at heart, because there are many who take your money and who don't do the job, and you are still left with a mess. When you pay a good accountant, a good bookkeeper. It's an investment that you will pay dividends for years to come. You will save money in terms of tax. You will also gain benefits and advantage that you can't even quantify in money. Peace of mind, to sleep nicely at night, to know that there's nothing riding on your shoulders because you don't know what the heck is going on in your finances, in your business. And this is not just for lawyers. This is for small to medium owned business. Who thinks that when you have director on, if your name is under director on the registration documents at the CIPC, and you can't account for the money, if not SARS will come knocking. Someone will come knocking, and then you won't be able to answer. 6,000 files, it's 6,000 families. It's sad. None of these stories when I do it, there's no reason to celebrate because lives are at stake. Careers and reputations are at stake. How could all of that have been prevented? It just would have taken the directors of these businesses to invest in accounting. Not as a by-the-way thing, but as something that's an asset to your business. I am Olivia, and I am an accountant, and I do specialize in setting out financial control systems for small to medium-sized business. You can click the link below if you want to get in touch with me, and you are more than welcome to send me an email. Thank you so much for listening, actually for watching. I keep on saying listening, but thank you for watching. And please watch out for other shows that will be the same, more or less the same as these ones. Let me know what you think. Share your opinion, like, share, and subscribe. And thank you.